In this video, I'm going to show you how to remove and replace your alternator on a Chevy Malibu, located on the back side of the engine on the passenger side between the firewall and the fender. Remove your negative battery cable. That's going to be a 10mm wrench or socket. Just take that nut off, loosen it up, wiggle it a little bit, see if you can pull it up. Make sure you set it aside so it does not reconnect and ground out during your service. Go ahead and remove your passenger front wheel, 19mm socket. I'm going to leave that one on a little bit because I think the tire is kind of frozen on there. Yep. So just make sure it's snug. It doesn't have to be against the rim. You don't want it against the rim. And then let's give it a shot. Then just grab your tire and pull it off. To remove this fender liner, we have 4 screws, mounting screws, on the back side of the strut and 1 plastic body clip push pin. So 7mm socket, and we're going to just start right here, right at where the fender meets the fender well skirt. Remove that, and this little black spacer might come off. If it does, we'll just add it back on. Up there in the fender well, then right here, the inside. And then this one right here by the sway bar link. And then here's our body clip on the top here. Just a pair of trim tools. Just grab the edging of it. Or you can put a flathead screwdriver in there sometimes. And then pull that down. So now we're going to work our way down the front of this fender well. And there's one more plastic body clip. Let's remove that. And then we'll grab the 7mm socket. And we'll work on the screws that we can see here. So there's one here, one there. That's holding the ABS bracket against the fender liner. Then we'll work our way over here. There's 2 more right here on the plastic bumper. And one on the bottom. Now if you look right here on the inner fender, there's 2 holding the skirt. It's like a plastic shield down here. So 2 more right here. And 1 more plastic clip. Now we're underneath the car. You can see the fender skirt right here. So I see that this connects right here. Set it aside. And then by looking at the skirt, that has a clip, so I don't think that's going to attach, but this one will. And then this, so there should be 3. And then this should be the last one. Make sure you get them all out. Now we're ready. We have everything unmounted, so we can grab our inner fender liner skirt and just start pulling it out. Keep your head clear because a lot of debris will come out. And it goes up. There's a metal lip right here, so it kind of pulls up. Sometimes you can grab the inside and pull it out, and that way you have room to pull that forward. So now take your 3/8 drive, and you want to put it in that slot on that tensioner, just like that, and take tension off of the belt. And while the tension's off, you could just slide it right off your alternator and leave it intact everywhere else, just like that. The alternator has 3 mounting points. We have 2 bolts on the bottom here and then a nut on a stud on the top. They're all a 13mm socket, so I'm going to go ahead and take that nut off the top, break that free. And then I'm going to break these free on the bottom. Once I've got them loose enough, I'm gonna use my electric 3/8 drive and spin those right off. Take the nut off. Take these 2 bolts out. They're both the same size. I know they look like they're not, but they are the same size. So before we take it off this stud on the top, I'm going to disconnect the connector right there to the regulator. So that's a black lock pin. I'm going to take a small screwdriver, see if I can break that off, just like that. So now you're going to take this black tab on the outer part and just squeeze that in and then pull, like that. Get that out of the way. Now we have to take the positive terminal off, and there's a plastic cover here. Take that right out of the way. And that should be a 13mm socket. I'm going to use a 1/4-inch drive. And I'm going to break this nut off. This is the positive terminal wire going from the battery to the alternator. Go ahead and pull that wire off. Just bend it aside. No fear, because we have the negative disconnected from the battery, so it's all good. Now we can take that alternator and pull it right off that top stud. Bring it right down between the axle and the exhaust and the subframe. So now you're going to take your alternator and you bring it up through the axle, passenger axle, and the firewall. Locate that top stud mounting hole. Slide it right over it. Take your 2 lower bolts. Start those by hand. Put that top nut right on. Now, if your stud came off with the nut and you had to separate them and put them back together, FYI, that stud torque is 80 inch-pounds before you put the nut on. Now I'm just going to snug those up before I torque them. 13mm socket. All right, let's get our torque wrench. Okay, 13mm socket, and the torque spec is 16 foot-pounds. And that's for all 3 mounting bolts and nut. 2 mounting bolts and nut. Let's get the deep socket. Now we're ready to put on that regulator connector. Grab that from the harness. Bring that right up. Line the lock pin connector up. You're going to hear it click. And then make sure you push down that red tab. That's the locking tab. While we're here, take this nut back off. Go ahead and line up that positive wire, back of that alternator. And take your nut, it's tied up by hand. Bring it right down. Pull the bottoms out. So 13mm socket. I'm just going to snug it up closer before I get my torque wrench up in here. Just like that. Now, put the 13 on the torque wrench, and it's 11 foot-pounds. That's nice and tight. Take your plastic protector and put that right back on. Make sure it's on there tight. You don't want it to fall off. Now we're ready to put the belt on. So go ahead and put your 3/8 drive on that tensioner. Put some tension on it. Get ready to put it on the alternator. Just slide it back and then put it right over that pulley. Make sure it sits in every groove. There we go. Now before you put that fender liner on, I would run it and make sure the belt is seated properly. And if all is good, go go ahead and reassemble the fender liner. Now to put that fender liner back in, it's basically reverse procedure. Only one little tidbit is I like to put it up in this part of the fender first because it can be really difficult. So you want to try to get it under the lip of that fender. There we go. Get that ABS bracket up and out of the way. Now I've got the two holes right here are lined up, so I'm going to go get my plastic push pins. So to hold it in place while I'm working, I'm going to put the plastic body clips in first. Line that up, push that tab in, and then we have one more right here. Do the same thing. Line it up in place, and then push that tab in. Now we can go ahead and start putting all the mounting screws in. 3 inner here, and then go to the back, then the front, because I have to raise the front up. So let's go ahead and put the 3 center mounting bolts in. That's that 7mm socket. Line it up. Now we're going to move to the front here. Line this one up. Now I'm going to be on the left side, which is the closest to the passenger foot area. I'm going to put these 3 bolts in, all 7mm. Don't forget this one up here. It's kind of tucked away. And then this one down here with the little black spacer, plastic spacer. Now we're going to move right to the front. So we have 3 outside ones right here. Two screws down here and 1 plastic push pin. And then the last bolt here. Then we're going to have to raise it up to get the undercarriage area. Okay, so now we've raised the vehicle up and I'm putting the fender liner in where it connects to the bumper skirt. One here, and then last one right here. Go ahead and mount your tire, line up the studs. Take your lug nuts, put them on. I will start everything by hand. That way it's not cross-threaded, no mistakes. Take your 19mm socket and snug them up. I'm going to snug them up in a star pattern, crisscross. See how the rim is seated on the hub. Perfect. Now we can torque it. Just torque the wheel. It's a 19mm socket, and the torque spec is 100 foot-pounds. Always do it in a star pattern. Double check. Now you can connect your negative battery terminal, hook it up. Make sure that terminal sits all the way down on that post. You don't want it sitting up. It was wrong when I disconnected it. It was sitting up too high. So if you have a terminal spreader, that's great. If you don't, I have enough space here to get a flathead screwdriver in there and open that up. So I'm just gonna give it a little lift like this and help it. That's probably why it wasn't done in the first place the correct way. There we go. Plastic is better than steel because we don't want to break that battery terminal. So now it's seated correctly. 10mm socket or wrench, and let's snug this up. Make sure there's no movement. Good to go. When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.